Hey, what's up everybody? In this video tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at how to create that bridge that's going to be crossing a water hazard. So this one can get a little bit tricky, so stay patient with me as I am building this. So what we first need to do is we need to create a work plane that's going to be going diagonal across this water hazard. All right, so in order to do that, I'm going to come up here, go to plane, and you're going to see that there's more options here other than just offset. So we can see we have plane point, line angle, point normal, all this good stuff. I'm actually going to come here and pick on 3 point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to create a plane that's going to go through 3 points. So I'm going to pick 1 point, 2 point, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just come right to this point right here and pick on that. And when I do that, we can see that there's a plane that goes right down the center of all three of those points. Now, when taking a look at this, okay, we can see that that plane, all right, is really close to the actual mountain. Okay, that's no problem. I'm just going to go ahead and green check it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to plane again and pick on this existing plane. And now I'm just going to be pulling this over. Okay, so where that is going to be going right down the center of this, and it gives me a little bit of room because we do have to make sure that this pathway is 36 inches, so this is wheelchair accessible. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at that, make sure it's somewhat going down the center of it. Okay, maybe I'll scoot it. Actually, I think that's looking, no, I'm going to go ahead and scoot it back just a little bit more. Okay, so that's somewhat going down the center of it. So I'm going to go ahead and green check it. All right, so just not to confuse myself, I am going to come in here and take a look at the number on this plane. This is plane 6. I'm going to turn the visibility off. Okay, that's only going to be leaving us with one plane. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick on sketch and pick on this plane. Okay, and then just green check it. All right, so what I want to do is right click here on that sketch I just created. I do want to come up here and pick on section view. All right, that's going to remove all the material back, okay, to that plane and green check it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is come here to my sketch. I'm going to right click, pick on edit, okay, and then what I'm going to do is just move this over, and I should be able to actually right click and pick on view normal too. So it's actually going to look right at it. Okay. So here's a couple things we have to remember. We do have to give ourselves some room on both sides to actually play mini golf, so we can't have this bridge actually span too far. So what I'm going to do is come up here and go to use, okay, and I'm going to see if I can't get some of this geometry to pull over because I do need to know where the top of that surface is. Okay, so once I do that, looks like this sort of portion over here did not come over. I think we've got it. Okay, so once we have that, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and find this 3 point arc. And like I said, we need to make sure we have plenty of room to sort of play golf. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this to start my arc. And I'm going to send this over, okay, the water hazard. I'm going to be making sure this is staying right on that surface. Okay, and now I can go ahead and adjust, okay, what my radius is. All right, so what we have just done is we've just basically sort of plotted out where that bridge is going to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and view normal 2 again. And now what I'm going to do is use offset. Okay, I'm going to pick on this plane, and I'm going to be telling it I want to go in that direction. So I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to say that the thickness on this, I don't know, maybe we'll make this, we'll give ourselves some room here. Let's go with 10 inches on this. Okay, so that's going to be going 10 inches up. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here. Okay, below trim, we can see extend. And I'm going to go ahead and pick this line. Okay, and I'm going to pull this all the way over to where it finally hits the floor. I'm going to pick this edge and bring this all the way over to where it finally hits the floor. And then I'm going to draw a line that's going to be capping from this endpoint to this endpoint and capping from this endpoint here to this endpoint here. I can go ahead and green check it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and orbit this over. And what I'm going to do now is I need to make sure I have everything where it needs to be. Okay, I am going to probably come in here. Actually, I'm just going to leave it right where it's at. I'm going to go ahead and do an extrude. So it's going to be this portion, and this portion. And I'm going to say I want this to be a symmetrical extrusion, and I want this to be 40 inches wide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and green check it. I'm going to come over here to my sketch. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to be making sure to turn the section wall off so we can sort of see that that bridge is there. Okay, and it looks like it's going to be coming awfully close to that wall in the end, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to try keeping a little bit of safety in mind, and we're going to make things a little bit easier as people are putting the ball and going across the bridge. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to create another sketch, okay, on plane 7 and green check it. Okay, I'm going to come to this last sketch here I just created. I'm going to right click, pick on section view, okay, and green check it. And now I'm going to come to that sketch and edit that. All right, so once I've done that, now what I'm going to do is use, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't find something here that I can actually use. So the top of this is coming through, but it doesn't look like the bottom is coming through. So let me just say view normal to. Okay, and let's see if we can't use the top portion of this bridge. Looks like Onshape's a little bit behind. Let's see if we can use the bottom of the bridge. I think that came through. So let's just go ahead and let's try doing an offset. So I'm going to offset the bottom of this. I'm going to hit enter because it's going in the right direction I want to go up. And now what I'm going to do is, I don't know, maybe we'll make this 4 inches and hit enter. Okay, and now we can go ahead and use extend to extend this line. I can go ahead and bring this all the way down. Extend this line, bring it all the way down. And now what I'm going to do is draw a line starting from this endpoint. I'm going to keep this totally horizontal. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a line from over here, draw it over like so, keep it totally horizontal. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and use trim to trim out this portion, trim out this portion, and then trim out this portion and trim out this portion. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and green check it. And yeah, I think we have the profile that we need. So watch how this works. I'm going to say I want to do an extrude. It's like there's nothing showing up. Hang on. Yeah, but just being a little bit lazy. Let's try it again. So I'm going to hit extrude. If nothing is showing up, just remember sometimes you can always just come back and pick on the actual sketch. All right, it's recognizing that that is a closed profile. The thing is, I want this to be a remove. And the thing is, I want this to be 36 inches. And the last thing is, I want this to be symmetrical. Okay, and when I green check this and come back into my sketch, okay, to turn off my section view, you're going to see now I've built that rail in. So it was 2 symmetrical extrusions. One was actually an add, the other one was a remove. Okay, and when I do that, you're going to see how I've given the walkway. I've also given a rail, so a little bit of safety factor, and it makes the game a little bit easier. But that is how you would create a bridge. You don't have to necessarily create the rails on this, but I think it's kind of helpful for a lot of people, so that's what I would kind of go with. All right, so that is how you create a bridge for your mini golf course project.